Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from Olive Gardens Hotel here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. Now, as our name suggests, Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and solidarity amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and safe platform for women to discuss issues pertaining to their health and lifestyle, their work and families, and anything that affects them in one way or another. In layman's terms, cerebral palsy, CP, is defined as a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and to maintain posture and balance. CP is caused by abnormal brain development or damage to a developing brain that affects a person's ability to control or use their muscles. Now, on top of issues with posture and mobility, people with CP often suffer from vision impairment, hearing, scoliosis, and other issues. Sadly, there have not been any official statistics on the prevalence of CP in Kenya. However, according to some experts, it's estimated that about 3 out of every 100 children are living with this condition. In this episode of Dadas Show, we are showing concern, and we are here to create awareness, offer support and encouragement to those who have been afflicted by this condition. And we will be sitting down with those who know firsthand what it's like to raise and to be around somebody with CP. As always, we invite you at home to take part in this and any other conversation that we may be having on our newly launched Facebook page, Dadas KBC Channel 1, and across all other social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. You can also reach me directly at Ashiko, the host, across all social media platforms. Now, before we get into today's conversation, let's take a look at the following feature.
World Cerebral Palsy Day is a global movement that started in 2012 and is observed annually on October 6th. The day aims to bring together people living with cerebral palsy, their families, supporters, and organizations from over 100 countries. Cerebral palsy is a condition that affects muscle control and movement. It is usually caused by an injury to the brain before, during, or after birth. For Monica, she got to know of her child's fate immediately after delivery.
Ilifika mahali wakati nilikuwa naenda pale zile clinics, so akapitisha some days, and the gynecologist told me ni ikifika tarehe fulani, alikuwa amenipea specific date, akaniambia ikifika tarehe 10 kama bado hujahisi ile labor jakuja, you come back to the hospital afanywe ile kuinduce. So I was just okay. I have never been sick. Sijawahi kuwa hata na homa hiyo wakati yote. In fact, that day I used to be here alone with my kids, na tulikuwa tunaenda shule pamoja because they were schooling in the same school where I was teaching. Nikiwa hapo karibu na Timol, because the hospital in the area of Nairobi West, nikaanza kusikia labor pains. Ikaanza kukuja kwa nguvu kabisa. Nikafika pale hospitali, nikakuta line mrefu sana. Unajua the way people are so many. I was sweating, I didn't know what to do. Nikaambia to your receptionist, I think I am in an emergency. But I think this will took long. Hata siku take long. Mtoto akatoka. Vile alitoka, alikuwa amenyamaza. Sikuwa na expect kama kuna any issues. So she was quiet. Sasa daktari alikuwa ananiambia, "Hey mom, just keep praying. The child is not okay." Nikashindwa, what is not okay? At least kumweka asikuwe na any other, yani tuseme hata asikufe. So wakampeleka ICU. Huyo mtoto sikumshika kabisa. Kumpeleka ICU, akaenda sasa kumweka ile intubation, ile complete life support ya oxygen na machines kila mahali. Mimi nikasaidiwa sasa, baadaye nikapelekwa kwa ward. Sasa mimi nimekaa hapo kwa hospitali. Every day naambiwa tu enda tu pale, naenda kumwangalia. Hata alikuwa naenda tu namwangalia, naangalia anapumua, na nimeshajua kusoma hizo vitu, naangalia tu machines, naambiwa tu mama atakuwa sawa, mtoto atakuwa sawa. So that is where our journey started.
CP is unique to each and every individual. There are classifications for CP, namely mild, moderate, severe, and no cerebral palsy.
Well, I remember what they told us, because sometimes they used to call us, myself and the dad. Tunaenda tunakalishwa, tunaambiwa huyu mtoto sasa atakuwa na delayed milestones. That's what they said. It will take maybe 6 months to 1 year for her to recover, at least waanze kuona milestones zake zikikuwa. She will also be slow. Yani kila kitu yake maybe itachelewa. But they did not tell us the actual thing. after now the day on the 21st, wakati sasa amedischargiwa, tulifika hapa na mtoto, ilikuwa usiku karibu saa 2, nikampeleka upstairs. Kufika huko, kabla hata sijamweka kwa kitanda, alianza twitch na kufanya, yani unaona twitching. Tukashinda hizi gani, tulipenduka hivyo, tukarudi hospitali mbio sana. Mimi nilikuwa naona kama na faint, ni kama sasa ni kama nikukufa, anakufa sasa. Tukakimbia mpaka hospitali. Daktari ndo alituangalia hivi na kama sijui labda alicheka ama akatuambia you will see more of this.
Many signs and symptoms are normally not readily visible at birth except for severe cases, while most appear within the first 3 to 5 years of life as both the brain and the child develop.
This is wazazi, they tell you, hiyo ni cerebral palsy. Mtoto ashapata ni inaitwa condition cerebral palsy. The brain is dead, a part of it, na kuna kiwa, na sasa anza tu safari. Tafuta mtu anaitwa neurologist, akusaidie. Tafuta therapist, hivyo ndo aliniambia. So I asked nani, akanipea jina ya neurologist. So hapo ndo tulianza safari, tukaenda kwa neurologist. So that is the person who told us, hii ni condition inaitwa cerebral palsy. It is a permanent condition. And the only thing you can do, because she used now to twitching, akaniambia ni convulsions. Now akaanzishwa dawa hapo. From then she has been taking the medications ya kupunguza hiyo convulsions, although they have never gone away. So from there now akatupeleka sasa, huyu akatudirect na kwa mtu anaitwa therapist. Now the people occupational therapist anaenda ni kama kutengeneza mikono nini.
Currently, there is no cure for cerebral palsy. However, there are different treatment options including therapy, medications, surgery, education, and support. By taking advantage of these treatments, people with CP can improve their function, minimize the development of complicating issues, and optimize the quality of their lives.
In 2021, alikuwa mgonjwa sana after hiyo kukula na chakula inaenda lungs, akakuwa na pneumonia, akadimitiwa hospitali, oxygen, naona mtoto na sava. Nikaambia daktari, sasa nimekubali. Nimefika, aliniambia akimwekea hiyo kitu itapunguza pia hiyo aspirations pneumonia, juu chakula itakuwa inaenda kwa lungs. Nikaambia nimekubali sasa after 3 years. So saizi yako na tube ana feed now. And from the time aliwekewa, after ile tu kuogopa how to dress it, how kama inaweza kuwa na vidonda nini, but after nimejua kushughulikia, right now I'm enjoying myself now because I feed her na blend tu kila kitu, kama ni chakula naweka na blend everything na mfeed. Time ya kufeed imekuwa short, tumepunguza safari ya hospitali. I think tumerudi hospitali once since that year kuadmitiwa.
A number of organizations in Kenya are now raising awareness campaigns in all parts of the country to enhance understanding of cerebral palsy among Kenyans. For Dadas Show, my name is Miriam Odanga.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Dadas Show, and today's conversation is in creating awareness on cerebral palsy. And we hope you at home will definitely learn a thing or two on our conversation today. Remember to reach out to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, or you can reach us on our newly launched Facebook page, Dadas KBC Channel 1, or my personal pages at Ashiko the Host. Now, to get the ball rolling, I would love, and I'm honored to introduce to you my wonderful panelists who are going to be enlightening us and educating us more on cerebral palsy. So I'll start off with the gentleman right next to me. His name is Mr. Aaron Kibet. He is an occupational therapist. Well, he'll tell us more about what an occupational therapist does in relation to CP and CP awareness. Next to Mr. Kibet, we have Matilda Mukasa. Matilda Mukasa is a parent, so knows firsthand what it's like raising a child with this condition. And next to her, we have Madam Monica Sunguna, who's also a parent and an advocate for CP awareness, who is going to be telling us a little bit more about what she does in her life as a parent to a CP child. I'd also want to acknowledge my wonderful audience and you at home who take time week in, week out to sit with us as we acknowledge, as we learn, as we discuss contentious issues affecting the women and girls of this country. So, to start us off, let's put everything into context. We've already defined CP as a group of a group of disorders, but that's a layman terms. As an occupational therapist, if we dig deeper into medical jargon, how would you define CP? But first of all, you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Karibu sana Bwana Kibet.
Okay. My name is Aaron Kibet, an occupational therapist. So to start with, let me just define what is occupational therapy is. So this is a branch of medical that deals with helping those who are born with challenges, those who are differently able, those who have the neurological disorders, and so on. So more so what we do, we work as much as possible in helping them to be independent as much as possible without trying the delayed milestones. So in regards to cerebral palsy, so cerebral palsy, it's an umbrella term which carries disorders, which carries a group of disorders. So cerebral means the brain, and then palsy now comes the paralysis, which means the paralysis. So yeah, that's cerebral palsy.
Thank you so much for putting everything into context. We'll definitely come up, we'll come back to you and then you can fill us in a little bit more about this condition. So I want to move on to Matilda. Matilda, thank you so much, and karibu sana to Dadas show. I applaud your courage to share this story with us. So kindly tell us about yourself and your interaction with CP.
My name is Matilda Mukasa. I'm a mother of 4 years old boy with CP. My boy got CP during birth, and from that day, I think our life changed from that day, because the journey from birth, I had a prolonged labor, which forces the doctor to use vacuum.
Yes.
And from that, they interfered with the head. Now the brain was still that soft. The head was soft, so so they forcefully used that vacuum to remove the baby. So the baby didn't cry at birth. They put him on oxygen for about 30 minutes. Then after 30 minutes, they gave me the baby, but the baby was crying and you can't control the. So me also, I didn't notice anything. We were admitted for about 1 week. The baby did not breastfeed at birth. I think my baby developed CP from
that particular time.
Yes.
Oh wow. Asante sana for sharing that. I mean, that's definitely tough, because you've carried the pregnancy all through the 9 months, and something like this happens. I mean, it's rather sad. So pole sana for that, Matilda. We'll come back with you in a little while. But asante sana for having the courage to share with us your story. I know it definitely is not easy. Monica, what about you? Karibu sana, first of all.
Thank you very
much for
much
joining us.
Asante.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Monica Sunguna, and I'm grateful for this Dadas show. I'm a mother to 4 kids. And the little one is the reason I'm here today. Her name is Lona Nenkai, and she's 8 years old. She developed cerebral palsy at birth also, although I didn't know the term or even what she was suffering from. But I had a smooth pregnancy at the period of 9 months where I was not having any complications. I am a trained teacher. So when I was expectant of her, I used to go to work.
Yes.
Up to actually the last 2 weeks when I took my leave to go and now be ready to receive her. So on the day when I went to the hospital to get her, I went to the hospital, and unfortunately I was the only one. My husband had gone to work. So I went to the hospital, and there was a queue. You know, patients were many. And before I actually reached there, I started developing the labor pains.
Yes.
And they were coming so fast. When I went to the reception, I just told the receptionist, I think I am in an emergency situation and I needed help. She just took me to the doctor, but the doctor who was taking us through the trial, you know, the blood pressure, the thing, had made me to wait on the queue where the other patients were. So I waited for some minutes. By the time I went to see him, He just checked, and the baby was already out.
She was already there.
She was already there. That is the time they realized it was an emergency, and they whisked me through a wheelchair to the lifts to the labor wards, where I delivered her without even a lot of delays. But then she came out and she was quiet. So at that time, it was only the nurses that were there with me, but they tried to resuscitate her. And after some time, I think they were almost failing. They sent a signal to the ICU doctor, who came now who tried to resuscitate her more. Yes. So while they were doing that, the doctor was just telling me, as a mother, you are wondering what has just happened all of a sudden. So I was just, I think, I cannot even tell what I was doing, but I think I was praying or telling God some words. And the doctor is there looking at me, looking at the baby, and I could hear him tell the baby, please come, your mother is really praying for you. Just try, come out. And then at some point he told me, Mama, mtoto ni mgonjwa. So we are trying our best. So don't just worry, just be still. So at that time, they just took her to the ICU, where they went to put to intubate her, yes, to full life support on oxygen. Yeah. So by the time they had finished now with the other activities on myself, I just asked for a phone number, my phone. I don't know even where it was. I asked for it, and then I just texted the father and told him that the child is here, but is unwell and has been taken to the ICU. I also sent a text to one of my friends, a lady who is a church leader. I also told her the same, and then from there, that was it. So she went to the ICU. I was left there at the wards, just nursing, standing. I didn't know what to do. In fact, I was taken to the room where women know after getting a child, you are taken somewhere. Oh, wow. So I was standing there looking at mothers having kids. Suckling, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. And then they were like, where's the baby for this one? Yeah, so that is where our journey started, although they did not tell us actually at that time. Yes.
When were you told that there's cerebral palsy?
Actually, when she stayed in the ICU, because she was put on the complete life support for 24 hours, and then the doctor actually told me the same day that it's a 50-50 affair. Like, I think she was not going to make it. Yes. So they were trying to prepare me. They say we are trying our best, but it's a very, very thin line. Yeah. So they just put her in the machines everywhere, and she was very big, by the way. She was a bubbly baby girl weighing 3.4 kgs. That's a big very baby. Beautiful. Yeah. So by the time, I didn't know what to do because, of course, at that time I'm helpless. I couldn't shout or cry, but there is nothing I can do. I just sat there and I told them that's okay. So when I went there for the 24 hours, I stayed there and then the baby was in the ICU. So I did not go that day to see her, but the ladies I text, they came. They called other ones. So they came at the visiting hours. They went to see her, and they came to console me and tell me, the baby is not bad. We just pray she will be okay. So she stayed there. She stayed in the ICU for 8 days. But on the 5th day, I was discharged from the hospital. Okay. When she was still in the ICU. Yes. So I was told, Mama, wewe si mgonjwa. There's no need of staying in the ward. No. Kama unaishi karibu, you can just go. Yeah. And be coming to see her in the hospital. Yeah. So alikaa hospitali for 21 days. Wow. So in those other 13 days, apart from the 5 I was there, I will just come every day in the morning like a person who goes to work. At 6 a.m., I go to the ICU, no bed, no food from the hospital. I used to sit in a soda, ile crate ya soda. I sit on that. At lunchtime, I'll go out to the hotels, take some food, come back. So my major work there, because I could not even hold her, was to express the milk. Yes. And then she was fed through the tubes on the nose. So on the 21st day, before then, in the middle, we had a pediatrician or neurologist who used to come and counsel us. And the only thing she said was like, this child has developed some complications and she might take time to develop. Yes. So she just told me between 6 to 1 year, that's when you can start seeing the changes. But she did not tell us what was it. So for us, we knew it was 6 months or 1 year, she will be fine. Or maybe she will delay catching up, but we really didn't know it was such a very big thing. So we came home after the 21st day without knowing the diagnosis. It is on the 3rd month that I came to know, after I was referred to a neurologist who now told me this is cerebral palsy and it does not have cure. Yeah. But now they directed us on what to do. On what to do. Yes. Wow. I mean,
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. You know, you go to hospital to deliver and you're living without the baby, you know, for a whole 21 days. Oh. So I'm going to come back to you in a little bit. Now, Bwana Kibet, when we started off, we talked about the different, you know, we talked about there's the damage that is done to a developing brain, and there are those ones where there's the abnormality that is already there, which of course indicates that there are different types of CP. You know, kindly enlighten us on the types of CP and what are some of the signs and the symptoms before we pick the conversation up with the ladies.
Okay, to start with the signs and the symptoms, we have one which is very common. We have the delayed neck control. The baby fails to breastfeed immediately after the birth. We have let's say the weight, you've just delivered, and the baby is underweight. So there are so many questions you'll ask yourself why. And then we have those who are born premature. Most likely they will develop CP over time. So those are the babies at risk of CP now.
Yes.
So as they grow up, they fail to breastfeed. One, we have delayed neck control. Two, we have delayed sitting, and then three, we have delayed standing, and then of course now the delayed independent walking. Yeah.
And you've said these are the common ones amongst all the types of the CPs that are out there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So now, you know, based on what you're saying, Matilda, so sasa kama wewe mtoto alipatikana kuna hizi shida kadhaa. What were some of the challenges, you know, ulianza kuona signs and symptoms aje ndo ukajua hapa kukona there's something else ndo uende kwa daktari?
Mara ya kwanza mtoto akunyonya at birth, but sikujua anaweza kuwa na CP. Sikujua kuna kitu inaitwa CP at that time bado. Tukapewa discharge, nikaenda na mtoto nyumbani. Lakini mtoto alikuwa analia, ile kulia tu sana. Na still kitu kama CP haikuwa kwa mind yangu. Napeleka tu mtoto clinic kama kawaida, lakini pia siambiwi kuna CP. Sasa at 3 months, juu nilikuwa bado naenda shule. Sasa nilikuwa naishi kwa plot. Nikiona mtoto wangu ako 5 months na mtoto wa jirani ako 3 months na nakaa na wangu bado hajakaa. Nikasema acha niende nyumbani hata niambiwe ni watu wakubwa. Nikaenda nyumbani, mamangu akaangalia mtoto. Akaona huyu mtoto wako ni kama ako na shida. Juu naishi karibu na hosi, kesho Monday peleka mtoto hosi waambiwe shida ni nini. Mimi nikapeleka mtoto hosi na baada hawakuniambia shida ni nini. Wakanibook. Juu mimi nilikuwa na haraka, nilikuwa naona wanani delay. Sasa nikasema tu acha tu nirudi kwa ile hosi nilizalia. Si nikarudi nikapatana na daktari mwenye alikuwa on duty that day. Nikamuelezea shida ya mtoto. Yeye pia akaniambia mtoto wako anaweza kuwa na delayed milestone. On my mind nilijua delayed milestone ni kitu nikienda hosi mtoto atatibiwa akuje arudi sawa. Akanirifa akaniambia wenda Nyabondo rehab watakushughulikia. Sasa pesa ndo natafuta juu sikuwa na NHIF. Mimi naenda na ile akili after 1 week mtoto wangu atakuwa sawa.
Mtoto atakuwa sawa, hiyo tuishia hapo.
Kitu kama hiyo. Sasa nikaenda huko, lakini vile niliingia kwa gate ni rehab. Unapata watoto walemavu wengi sana. Nikashtuka.
Huku ni wapi nimeletwa?
Yani kwani mtoto wangu pia atakaa kama hawa ama juu kwa nini wamenileta huku? Yani maswali mingi zilinikujia sana. Nikapeleka nikangana na therapy. Bado sioni kama mtoto anakaa ama akona improvement. Tena napigia ule daktari. Mbona sioni kama mtoto ana improve hata. Anaambia tulia. We ngangana tuna therapy. Mtoto atakuwa sawa. 2 weeks inaisha nikarudi home. Bado sioni dalili ya mtoto kuwa sawa. Head control. Shingo iko imeshika. Ukikalisha mtoto unaona shingo inaanguka. Sasa nikikompea mtoto wangu na wale, tena naona wangu ni afadhali, tena naona atakuwa kama wale. Yani you are in a dilemma. Haujui kama chances zake kukua sawa na kukua kama wale 50-50. So from there bado sikuwa nime accept eti mtoto wangu ako na condition. Nilikuwa najaribu ile juu chini at least nione amekuwa sawa. Nikatoka hosi from Nyabondo nikarudi kujaribu tena hosi ingine. Niendelee na therapy. Huko napatana na watu wengi. Unapata mtu alianza kitambo 5 years baada anaendelea na therapy. wewe ndio umeanza uko na 2 weeks
na unangojea wiki mbili
mtoto akue sawa.
Utoke.
Sasa mtu akikwambia ati yeye ako na 10 years hapo kwa therapy, unajiuliza kwani mimi pia nitakuwa hivyo ama sasa, yani unataka consult kila mtu. Wewe umekuja mara ngapi kwa therapy? Wewe unaona improvement kwa mtoto wako? Yani hiyo acceptance bado haijakukujia. Sasa
aside from that, what are some of the other challenges that you experienced, especially now, you know, raising your child? How old, you mentioned your daughter is how old right now?
8 years old.
She's 8 years old.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what are some of the challenges you've experienced?
there is a very wide range of challenges raising a child who has cerebral palsy. And as the doctor has said, there are degrees in cerebral palsy. There are different degrees. I think according to the part of the brain that was damaged. Some of the kids have mild cerebral palsy. It's mild. They can maybe walk. They can be independent.
Yes.
And then now we have those who have severe. Like for the case of my daughter, she has severe. Yes. So for her, from the beginning, from the day she was discharged, actually the same day when we went home, because I remember it was about 8 p.m. Just reaching in the house, I started seeing her like she was twitching. So for us, we didn't know what twitching is. Yes. I just saw the child like she's throwing her legs and shaking. We just turned back and we went back to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yes, very fast. By the time we reached there, the doctor will just look at us and I think she was like, I'm so sorry, this is what we are going to experience for a long time. Don't be worried, you will see more of this. So it was, what is this? He didn't give us any medicine or anything. So I came home and I said, okay, I see her doing this. It is said that is what is going to happen. I will see more of this. So until one day when a parent, as I said, I was a teacher. So a parent I used to teach before they transferred. She called me and told me, Mama, she referred me to the other kids. I'm within. Are you around? I come and say hi. I told her, come, I'm home. She didn't know I was even having a baby. When she came, she looked at my daughter and said, this child has some small issues, and I want to refer you to a lady who has a child like this one. She will give you some advices. So I just called the lady very fast, and she told me, this is it. Be prepared to have a child with cerebral palsy. I was like, what is that? But then she referred me to a specialist, a neurologist. Now where I went and I found the doctor, and it was very kind. He just told me everything about cerebral palsy, and told me now you have to be prepared for the journey. So the first thing that happened, or the first challenge, is I had actually to stop working. Yes. Because when I used to go to work, I had just taken the leave, the normal one.
The maternity leave.
Yeah, maternity leave. I was ready to finish, go back to work. And this one, I was working in a private school. So, and the lady used to pay me when I was in the maternity leave. So I thought, let me go back. No, it's like, Sasa nimwambia, I'm not coming back because of the child. So I am one passionate person in my work, and I love kids. So I went back to school. I left my daughter with a house help who was taking care of her. But then she used to call me every minute. Yes. Because the child used to like faint. She had seizures, too many of them. And she used to choke also when she's feeding. So I could not even concentrate in class. I'm just in class, but I am looking at my phone. And some of the rules as a teacher is you don't use your phone when you're in class.
But you can't afford not to be on your phone.
I cannot afford.
You need to check on your
children. But one thing that affected me so much, it was I think stress became too much. I couldn't concentrate in class at all. I just wrote a letter and I told the lecturer, my boss, give me some more months, 6 months. Let me go and take care of her. If she will be fine, I'll come back. Yes. And this one was now unpaid leave. I said, okay, it's better. So I came home, and because now we know when we started the therapy, that is what they tell you to start.
So that's the first step.
The first step. Yeah. Because they tell you this is something that has no cure, but the neurologist introduced us to medication, something they call anticonvulsants. These were to suppress the seizures, not really to cure, something we are still on until this day. So the anticonvulsants are just to suppress the seizures, to reduce them. They used to be too much. So when I came home, I had to release again the house help, because now I am there. I could not give the burden to my husband to pay everything. I said, now I'm here, let me take care of her. I used just to sit there. Where you leave me in the morning is where you will find me in the evening. In fact, I would just change a diaper and I throw them near the door. Whoever will come and get them, take them out. My brain was not functioning at all. I would have too many thoughts in my mind. Like, why, what is this now? You know, and then I come from a community that is so superstitious about all these things. So everything was crossing my mind, like there were too many thoughts. At some point I could even just think like, I don't know what is going to, I'm not sure if she even make the next day. No, unakaa unashinda kama atafika hata siku ya kesho. So the challenges, apart from now stopping to working, there is having to go to therapy every time. She used to be too sickly every time we admitted in the hospital. And
so of course that's very expensive.
Very expensive. And every time, when even if she gets a cold, when you reach the hospital, the thing that the doctors do is just admit. There is nothing, they don't even talk, just admission. On admission is oxygen. Oxygen is expensive. So financially, it's now become again another burden. You look at, you say you want a therapist, therapists are not very cheap.
Yeah.
So there were a group of so many things as challenges. Yeah, and the major one also was stigma.
The stigma.
Yes.
I want us to dig deep a little bit about the stereotypes, but we'll do that. Before we jump into that and before we go on a break, you know, tell me, Aaron, what are some of the treatments? You know, there's no cure, but of course there are certain things that, and the interventions that are available. You know, maybe someone is watching us and thinking to themselves, you know, I have a CP child, I can relate to what, you know, Matilda and Monica are going through. What are some of the treatments and the interventions that are available?
Okay, so some of the treatments are, the most common is of course the therapy. And when you start the therapy, you don't have to stop. It has to be something consistent, so that you can achieve some of those delayed milestones. That is number one. Number two, we have the medicine now, that those are the anticonvulsants. For instance, you are doing a therapy and a child convulses, then he or she will lose all the muscle we have already trained. So let's just adhere to the medicine recommended by the doctor. Those are anticonvulsants. And then number two, we have the assistive devices or the assistive technology. We have use of the braces, the back slaps. We have the wheelchairs, and of course we have the walkers now for assisting them to maybe to walk independently.
Well, thank you so much for that. We're going to take a small break and then we'll come back for the question and answer session. Don't go far away. Hello and welcome to my favorite segment of Dadas Show, which is the question and answer session. This is where we give an opportunity to my wonderful audience to give us a question, to feedback, comment, word of encouragement, just to interact with you at home and to also interact with our wonderful panel. Remember, our conversation today is on cerebral palsy awareness. So please reach out to us with your questions, your comments, your feedback on all our social media pages at KBC Channel 1, our newly launched Facebook page at Dadas KBC, and my personal pages as Shiko the host. We look forward to hearing from you. So to start us off on this particular session, I want to welcome a very, very wonderful group of ladies who have joined us. They're also parents to CP children, and they're here with us to, to educate us, to also create awareness, to also ask questions and petition for, intervention where necessary. To start us off, we have Madam Joanne. Joanne, karibu sana.
My name is Joanne Akinyi. I'm raising a child with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a very tough journey. If you don't have a heart, it's not easy. It's always through God's intervention is when you can do this. Because for me, my journey, if I say it, mtu anaweza hata ni weka jela. Because I almost wanted to kill my child. Because I didn't expect this to happen in my family. And so it came to me unaware. I wasn't told by the doctor. I knew about the child after 4 months. So ikakuwa ni ngumu kwangu mpaka nilikuwa naacha mtoto choke, but If God says she's going to stay, she will stay. So my appeal, I wanted to appeal this to the government. Please, this thing is very expensive. When you go to the drugs, mtoto akitumia dawa anafaa kutumia conversions za calcium, multivitamin, alafu uende kwa diet, pia mtoto lazima awe na proper diet. And those things, they are always expensive. Because ukisema in a month, mama mwenye ana raise mtoto wa cerebral palsy, anaweza tumia even 15,000 in a month. That is only drugs and diapers and nini. Hizi mambo ya diet vitu wanakula. Including somebody to take care of the child. Because kama mimi ni mama mboga. Siwezi kaa kwa nyumba. Baba ametoroka, ameona mtoto si wake, anatoroka, anaenda. Unabaki peke yako, wewe ndio unalea. What I'd appeal for the government, at least they looked into the special kids, school and medication and the hospitals. Because wherever we go to the hospital, even if you go with the NHIF, fanya kila kitu. Maybe watakupatia drugs, na wakisema mambo na scanning, utaenda kulipa from your pocket. So that one, the government has to look onto it.
Yes.
And the money that they're giving the special people, they have to at least raise that money. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give Joanne a round of applause. Thank you so much for articulating so many things that I believe so many parents of CP children are actually going through. So I really do hope, and I appeal to the powers that be, to honestly listen to the plight of these mothers as they cry out for their children to get justice and to get what they deserve, to help and to get a little bit of help from you. So our next question or comment is from Madam Edith. Edith, karibu sana.
Edith Nyambura Wanyoike, Mama Travis Wanyoike, a CP child, 14 years, single parent. Kulea mtoto ako na hiyo shida ya cerebral palsy, nimekuja kugundua si rahisi at all. Nimeenda Bagathi, nimeenda Kenyatta, nimetembea. Imagine ilifika pahali hadi nikasikia ni kama naweza simama tu na mtoto nijihogeshe tu gari kwa barabara. Changamoto yenye mi huwa napitia sana juu siwezi ongelelea mtu mwingine ni hiyo kulipa fees. Iko very costly juu huwa tunalipa 15,000 per term. Na mimi kwangu huona ni mingi juu niko peke yangu. Mimi ndio tu nashughulikia huyo mtoto. Kitu ingine ni pahali tunaishi kwa plot. Yaani saa zingine wasijui kama ni mimi peke yangu. Huwa saa zingine hadi unaogopa kutoa mtoto nje, like nikimpeleka maybe tuseme kunyolewa. Wangu mpeleka hadi photoshoot by the way. Nampenda. Yaani unaona watu like ni kama hati wanaitana. Kujeni mmoja na shidwa. Nini mbaya na sisi? Chenye naweza omba serikali yetu ni watusaidie kuhusu kama hizo school fees. Ziko bei kali sana. Unapata hata wengine kuna watoto yani amefika wa kwenda shule na hajapelekwa shule bado amefungiwa tu kwa nyumba juu mzazi anashindwa ni kupeleka mtoto shule nitatoa wapi school fees ya kumlipia. Thank you my fellow parents. Tuendelee tu kujikubali tu. Hiyo tu ndio niko nayo kwa sasa. Asanteni.
Thank you so much. Let's give Mama Travis and Travis a round of applause. I mean, it truly is emotional, you know, the lengths that which mothers can go to ensure that they've provided for their children. And one thing that definitely stands out for me in all the conversations that we're having is the importance of creating awareness. We need to create awareness. We need to be able to dispense some of the stigma and the stereotypes that are around cerebral palsy. So let's hear our next, our next comment or feedback from another parent who we are very honored to have over here. And she's called Ann Rusho. Ann, karibu sana.
Habari zenu.
Habari.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Ann Rusho, a mother of 4 girls. Last one is the one who is having cerebral palsy. Breathing jelly. Huyo mtoto nimepitia changamoto mingi sana na yeye. I was happily married but now I'm a single mom. Juu ya yeye, baba yake alitutoroka. Sijui ni juu ya huyu mtoto lakini juu ya yeye. Hawa mama wanaweza kuambia ukiwa na huyu mtoto haikuangi rahisi. Madawa, diapers, pali mnakaa na ni wewe peke yako. Kwanza mimi nilikuja kujua akiwa na 6 months. Mtoto haugezi kilo. Ndio nilimpeleka clinic. Hapo ndio niligudulia kuna shida. Mpaka saa hii hajaitembea. Kuketi anaketi lakini kuna
I mean, it's truly emotional here for us as well, you know, because you can imagine all the things that people have to go through and how relationships, even relationships end because of this. I mean, what's your say? You're a gentleman. What's your say on the role of a father in regards to taking care of a CP child?
To be honest, you did not pray to God to give you such a particular child. So you need to accept. Acceptance is the key, first of all. So what has killed most of the relationships is that the denial in part of it. We have these myths and misconception of there is a curse or somewhere in our family we don't have such things like. So we need to accept and we love, we embrace the love towards these differently able kids. And when you have that, everything else will be just as smooth as it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pona Kibet.
Yes.
We'll move on to Anne. Anne, you have a question or comment?
My name is Anne Mwende. I'm a mother to Godwin Momo. Godwin is 6 years old. And our journey started after birth. So the challenges I've been through for the past, for those years, my baby boy is very dependent. You have to feed him, you have to do everything for him. And first of all, I thank God he has good health. So he's very heavy to carry him around. So for instance, kwenye tunaishi, unapata the plot ni stairs. So you can imagine carrying the baby from ground floor. Maybe we've come from therapy, church, evo. So carrying him from ground floor to 50th floor is very heavy. So what I can ask about the landlords and all, and the building owners, maybe watengeneze tu maybe the plots, ile nye mtoto mneza pita vizuri na wheelchair. Then the other thing is about kama tuna travel kwenda maybe Ushago and tukienda Ushago, you see the wheelchair, we have to walk with it everywhere. So I think there's a time tukua tunaenda home and imagine tumelipa gari but watu wa gari wanataka bado nilipie the wheelchair.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mwende. There's something that you've touched on which is very, very crucial. It's support. You may not have a physical solution at that point, but sitting down and sharing and crying together and hugging each other. Like they say, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Let's listen to our next parent. Karibu sana, introduce yourself.
My name is Zipora Mokonyo. Niko na watoto 4. 3 ndio wako na cerebral palsy, anaitwa Timothy Baraka. Timothy Baraka nilimpata kwa hospitali vizuri. Na discharge ikaonyesha aliscore 10 out of 10. Lakini tulikuwa tunaenda clinic, hatukuwa tunaambiwa kuna shida. Mwenye alikuja kutuambia kuna shida ni pastor wangu ambaye ni daktari. Sababu alikuwa anakuja anamchukua Timothy hakuwa anaangalia mtu direct, na nikimtoa nguo nilikuwa naona kama mkono kanafanya hivi tu kidogo. Sikuwa najua kama hiyo ni conversions. Kamguu tena kanafanya. So sasa kile kilio changu ni kwamba wazazi waelimishwe kwamba watoto wao wako na shida mapema inapojulikana. Tukue na watu kule kwa clinics, sababu nilijua mtoto wangu akiwa na 6 months. Alafu tena niulize serikali, sababu kuishi na watoto ni gumu sana. Mtoto anaweza kuwa mzuri asubuhi, jioni uko hospitali. Watoto wakubwa kama hao hawezi tumia matatu. Unafika mahali unashukishwa. Kama wangu tulishukishwa na Nissan. Tulikuwa tumekaa mbele kwa driver, akaona mtoto ameconvulse, akatuambia tushuke, already tulikuwa tushalipa, hatukuwa na nauli nyingine. So tukaenda hospitali kwa kutembea. Imagine umebeba mtoto na ameconvulse na hatakiwi kukunjwa. Kuna wazazi young, kwanza ukipata mtoto wa cerebral palsy ikiwa ni mara yako ya kwanza, unakuwa na shida mingi sana mpaka unajichukia, na watu wanaamua kuficha watoto, hata wengine wanafika mahali pa kuwatupa.
Let's give her a round of applause. That's really well put, you know, and like I said, the continuous term is creating awareness to elimisha watu. Everybody has to learn if it has to be included in the curriculum. Yeah, because the fact that we were talking about not having any official statistics, and yet there are random things that we can look for statistics right now and find all of them, then there definitely is a very big problem. So thank you so much, madam. That's really, really well put. So next we're going to hear from a caregiver who will briefly tell us a thing or two. Karibu sana, Claire.
My name is Claire Karemera, or Claire Zawadi, a caregiver to 2 children living with disability. And I'm also an advocate for children living with disability. Mine is to encourage the parents with children who have disabilities, not only CP, but all the other disability included. I belong to a group of parents of children living with disability, where we come together and put ourselves together to find a way that we can help each other grow. We also encourage the hospitals and government, as they are working on their children, they should also help us as parents, because not all of us are mentally stable, even if we are looking after our kids. We also have meltdown for, sometimes we look at our kids and wonder if, am I ready to continue with this journey?
Thank you so much, Claire Zawadi. And that is true. You know, mental health is very important. It's not, you can imagine just ordinarily for you and me, and then now you're dealing with such, you know, such a challenge in your life, you know, for lack of a better word. So I think it's always important, even for the rest of us, to always practice a lot of compassion, practice a lot of care, practice a lot of patience when you're dealing with not only each other, but even more so when you're dealing with parents who are raising CP. You do not know their challenges. You do not know what it took for them to get up in the morning. You know, it's heartbreaking to hear a parent talking about wanting to end it because they cannot see a way out of the situation. So let's treat each other with a lot of love, with a lot of compassion, and remember that, you know, we are all on this earth to fulfill a purpose. So why don't we make it making each other's life a little bit better. I'm going to take a word, you know, a parting shot. I'll start off with you, Bwana Kibet. What's your parting shot of this very insightful, emotional episode?
Let us all we embrace the love. That is what we call the unconditional love towards this, like without expecting something in return. So when you have this, more so while you are raising a child with special needs, you need to have that love, and then everything else will come in place. So yep. And then another thing is please let us have that patience in us. Let us not be that people who can easily give up. So giving up is not the solution. Let us always try to fight for our kids. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kibet. So resilience, patience, and unconditional love. Utatuambia nini leo mbele tuende nyumbani?
Hata ukiwa na mtoto mdogo na uone hata jirani wako mwenye ako na mtoto special, akwambie kitu kwa mtoto wako, maybe ameona kitu, amekwambia mtoto wako ni kama ako hivi na hivi, at least mpeleke usione huo mama anakuchukia ama anataka mtoto wako akue kama wewe. Anajaribu kukusaidia ujue mapema shida ya mtoto. Na ya pili pia naezambia tu wanaume, hii safari si rahisi. Hii safari inataka, yani the baby, he or she need love from both sides. Na sasa ukiachia mama mtoto, ni kama unaona hiyo shida imetoka kusaidia mama. Ukiachia mama shida zote, hata yeye analemewa. Sasa zingine tunalemewa kabisa. At least show some support. show some love. Safari ikuwe rahisi.
So the cry today, I think on two different occasions, is for the fathers, the ones who are not stepping up, to step up and do what they're supposed to do. And finally, Monica, what's your parting shot for the day?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ashiko, for this show. It's a beautiful one. And it's also part of therapy for us as parents. Actually, it means a lot. One thing that I have done with my daughter for the last 8 years is acceptance. Because it really takes a lot of time for our parents to accept a child. And that is the game changer. Once you accept this child, everything else, as the doctor has said, flows. It will be easy for you to take care of this kid. It will be easy for you to take the child out to the church, to school, and everywhere else. But once the parent is not accepting, because we have parents who are also in denial, they don't like these kids. Because of course they feel like they have put them on hold. They are no longer doing whatever they used to do. Awareness starts also with the family.
Yes.
Because of the stigma. Family, from your parents, your brothers and sisters, educate them. As I've heard Edith say, you know, when she gets out with the kid and then the people stare, I know as parents, they normally get offended. And that's why they ask, why? Why are you looking at us? But I want to tell them, they will keep on looking at you until the day you will get courage to tell them, this is my child and this is what we have. So accommodate us. That's what I do. Whenever I see someone staring at me, I will call them, even if it's a small child, come and see
Come
Lona.
and say hi. Yeah.
Come and say hi.
Yeah.
My daughter feels on that peg, so she feels through the tube.
Yes.
When I take her anywhere, even in the hospitals, I see kids coming and then they were like, they are trying to look at what's happening. I call them happily and tell them, see this. Their parents join them. What is the problem? I tell them, this is this and this. So that is awareness, basically. And once you tell them that, they will never stay at you again. Absolutely. They will support you and they will love you and we will work together the journey. Bring the kids out, let them be counted, and then let the government hear all the cry. I don't want to repeat what they have said. The medication, the diapers, that's what we need. And apart from the government also, we are asking for well-wishers, you and me. Not necessarily rich people. Yes. Anyone who can donate a diaper can reach out to us.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to Monica. You know, there's so many things that are so valuable. But remember, next when is the day, the Cerebral Palsy Day? 6th of October, please remember that. Mark that in your calendar. Even though it's to reach out to help, send, you know, your donations, send prayers even, you know, whatever you can be able to do, even educate yourself. Why don't you, let me task you today, my lovely audience, wherever you may be, 6th of October, you know, learn, Google cerebral palsy. What is it about? What are the signs? What are the symptoms? Let each of us play our part, because truly charity does begin at home. So we have come to the end of this very insightful episode of Dadas Show, and I want to thank everybody who has been part of this particular production, from the production team at KBC, my location partner, Olive Gardens Hotel here in Nairobi, and everybody who has played a role in making this production possible. For now, I want to wish you all a lovely week, a very compassionate week. Share love, share grace with each other. We will catch you same time, same place next week. But bye for now.